Hi, this is Steve Sassman with VR Owner's Guide. Today I have an exciting interview with Mercedes Brennan from One Chic Retreat. She is an interior design queen or maven, or I'm not even sure what we want to call her, but she's really good at what she does. And she's going to show us some of the neat stuff she recommends for vacation rental owners to really spice up their interior living spaces. So, hello, Mercedes. How are you?
I'm fine, Steve. How are you? Thank you for having me today.
Tell us a little bit about how you started and your background. Tell us how you got to be so good at what you do.
Thank you. Okay, well, I started in 2012 with my own vacation rental. My husband and I bought a very, very rundown, what I called a college flop house in Thousand Oaks, California, right around the corner from California Lutheran University. And we ended up fixing it up and turning it into a vacation rental. And we did that for about 4 months. I wish that we had done it for a bit longer because I really liked it. But after about 4 months, a couple from Chicago came in and gave us a very good offer, and we ended up selling it. But I definitely got my head into the business that way, and with my background in interior design, I have a master's from UCLA in interior architecture, and I also worked for Windsor Smith, who is a very well-regarded interior designer in Los Angeles. And I figured I would go into this business and help owners with their rentals.
Well, I gotta say, if there's anything that proves how good your work was, your place actually got sold in 4 months. I mean, I haven't heard of that happening very often, so that's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was very. It was a really great house. I loved doing that house, and I had a great time. And so I started One Chic Retreat. It's a blog. And I started it at the end of last year. It's a fairly new blog, and I'm having a great time with it. And I really concentrate on helping owners to create chic retreats that would attract more guests to their rentals. So the idea is that they learn how to stand out from the crowd and learn very specific strategies for doing so.
Definitely, and there's so much to that because, I mean, sure, there's all the marketing stuff, right? The advertising and which listing sites, blah blah blah. But really, once someone sees your place and sees what you put together, that has such a huge impact on how many people are actually going to just be dying to sign up and want to stay at your place. And if you can create that, I mean, that's got to just mean huge numbers in terms of rental value.
I think that the design and the marketing go hand in hand, and photography, all three. The marketing is huge. It's so important. But if you don't have a visually appealing rental, then you are not going to get very many bookings. It's just the way it is. And we're very visual people. People are visual, and they look at these photos, as I will show you in my presentation, and they want to wake up with the photo. They don't want to kind of, it's another vacation rental. Right.
Oh, I totally agree. So, well, do you want to start your presentation and we can see some of what you're talking about?
I would love to start my presentation. This is my homepage of my blog. You can see that you could sign up for my newsletter, which I put out 2 to 3 times a month. I have very specific articles about how to improve your rental. But today I'm going to be talking about color, and I'm going to be talking about a very effective color secret that every vacation rental owner needs to know.
Oh, we love secrets.
Yes, this is actually one of the most requested. This is definitely one of the most requested comments on my blog from my subscribers. Is please tell me about color. I don't know what to do with my rental. I want to do something. I want to paint it a different color. And so I just wrote this article, and this is the the keynote presentation of it for you. So we will start right now.
Excellent. I can't wait.
Okay, so basically I always ask vacation rental owners to put their heads in the heads of their guests and potential guests. And this woman here is a typical face, the typical expression of someone looking for a vacation rental. I myself have stayed in probably over 50 vacation rentals, and that's my face when I'm looking at these rentals. So I go through them very quickly. I see these little thumbnails, and we have 8 seconds to capture a potential guest's attention. That's the average attention span of someone looking for a rental. So the question becomes, how are you going to stand out for that person that's looking for a vacation rental? And it's just not, you have to remember that your potential guests are kind of in a hurry usually. It's not like going to a mall and sort of window shopping. They actually have a very specific purpose in mind, and so when they look at these rentals, they just kind of go, it just kind of looks like my own home here. I mean, they're nice. I mean, you see all of these rooms here are actually nice rooms, but they kind of look like our own homes a bit, And one of my biggest mottos as an interior designer for vacation rentals is people don't want a home away from home. They want the home they've always wanted away from home.
Kind of know what you mean, because I think people want to stay one notch or even 2 or 3 notches above what they normally would be able to afford or normally live in. Is that correct?
Yes, they do. And at the same time, that's one of the myths too, is that I think people think that that it has to be an inexpensive thing. So, like if you're a vacation rental owner, there's this misconception that, I'm not trying to attract somebody that, with a $300 or $400 a night budget. I just want that person that's going to, pay $250, so I'm not going to deliver a really nice interior for them. And that's the biggest myth, is that even things that are $85 a night or like budget options, if they are decorated well and you're just going to book up. And
right.
It doesn't cost, like if you look at these rooms, it doesn't cost any more to decorate them well as it does to decorate them in a mediocre manner.
Great point.
It's the same cost. I mean, those stools still cost something, the clock still costs something, the sofa still costs something. So it's just really a matter of learning specific strategies how to make these rooms stand out.
Great.
So, what I'm going to talk about, a very powerful color secret that stops people's attention, and absolutely without fail. This is the expression you want on your guests' faces. You want them to be excited, like, look at what I found. I'm so excited to show you this, right?
Oh yeah.
So the technique has to do with the field of wildflowers. In case you haven't seen one in a while, feast your eyes upon this one. Everybody loves these pictures. They love them. People stop and go to scenic overlooks when they're traveling in national parks, and they have their mouths open. They're just gaping at this gorgeous beauty. So you're probably asking, what does a field of wildflowers have to do with attracting guests to your vacation rental, right?
I was just wondering that.
Okay. The answer is simple. Wildflowers stop people in their tracks. So you're going 90 miles an hour, you're looking for that vacation rental, or you're traveling along the road, and once you see those wildflowers, you stop and you say, oh my gosh, I have to take a photo, I just want to sit here, have a romantic moment, these provide good memories for people. So
I agree.
So just a little bit, I'm going to geek out on you just a little bit here, tiny bit, maybe 2 minutes, all right? So the reason why we love wildflowers is it's in our DNA. It's a hardwired physical reason why our bodies and brains respond to these green fields of wildflowers. And it has to do with our earliest human experiences. When we lived in hunter-gatherer tribes, we associated with these beautifully colorful, gorgeous places. They meant food and water. So
interesting.
Deer, they're deer, and if they're wildflowers and it's green, it means there's water, right? If they're wildflowers, it's spring. You don't have to be, hunting for shelter from the elements or from cold winters. So it's basically all about food and water. So that's why we love these places. Our serotonin levels in our brain actually increase when we see these colors. So the question becomes, how is it possible to bring this, like these mood-boosting visual flowers, into our vacation retreats? So could you imagine, if you could create that same sensation in a potential guest or a guest staying at your retreat, it would just give them such a sense of wonder and, absolute happiness. So, yes, it's possible, definitely. Here it is. This is a vacation rental. It is one of the most popular vacation rentals on a site called One Fine Stay. It is an upscale site, but this room is doable in any budget. Really, it's doable in any budget. And you see how it just kind of fills you like, oh my God, I have to stop and look at this room.
Absolutely. It's 180 degrees different than the prior photo.
Yes, it is, and it's not hard to do. I'm going to show you guys how to do it.
Great. Definitely
possible. Here's a bathroom with the same colors as this beautiful landscape. So I ask my readers, or it's somebody who wants to create this amazing interior landscape for themselves. Start by tweaking your vision into seeing indoor and outdoor spaces like your indoor and outdoor spaces in your vacation rental as natural landscapes, not just rooms or kind of interior boxes. So you're going to just start seeing your house as a natural landscape and bringing these colors in. So first of all, find some photographs of some colorful spring landscapes that inspire you, or you can go outside if you live in a beautiful place like you do, Steve, in Arizona, and envision the same color scheme. Sort of, the ones that you like. If you like yellows, then, put some yellows in. If you like greens, put some nice, like, Kelly green in. Say no to this. This is what we're getting away from. It's very odd, but these a lot of people kind of go for earth tones, and I'm all for earth tones, and you'll see in my presentation that, earth tones are definitely not a bad thing. They just need to be mixed with other spring colors.
Right.
So, because this, when this is like a field that doesn't really have any greenery in it, so you need some, you need some color here.
Wow.
And you're going to embrace this. And these are all vacation rentals, actual vacation rentals that all do very, very well. So I'm going to tell you how to do it. It's pretty easy. The first thing you do is you create the sky, and then you create the earth and the greenery, and the last is you create the wildflowers inside of your interiors. And I'll show you specifically how to do that.
Okay.
We're going to start with the sky. Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely.
So most people across all geographies and really across all time periods prefer this sky above all other skies. They like a clear atmosphere, and they like puffy clouds. So they like to see some blue, they like to see some, grays, and then they like that white. And it's a very compelling sky, and it's mesmerizing. So we're going to bring those same colors into our spaces. So your atmosphere colors are always light and airy, and they come in so many different shades. If you're sitting out, for example, Steve, watching a sunset, you'll see different shades in the sky than if you're watching, a sunrise, or if you're out at a picnic at midday. You see some, pinks and greens and blues and kind of vanillas and silvers. Those are all sky colors, or all atmosphere colors. So I encourage people, especially beginners, to really embrace these colors and kind of make them a bit more dominant in their spaces.
Now, would these be, are you talking like the colors on the walls, or are the...
Yeah.
Okay.
As a beginner, anybody who, is new to this, I would say that this is the easiest way to accomplish it. It's, you want to put the atmosphere and the cloud colors kind of on your walls. If you're really, an experienced decorator, you could probably, you can bring it in other elements. But I think for a beginner, this is just the easiest way to accomplish this look. So, you also need to bring in those cloud colors. So they're sort of the whites and silvers and creams. They're usually not yellows. You kind of want to stay away from yellows in your cloud colors. And here's a very specific example of a room. This is the easiest and kind of like, it's just the most straightforward way to do it, is to paint the walls the atmosphere color and then paint the ceiling the cloud color.
Got it, okay.
It's just, clouds are above, our eyes are drawn up anyway. If you choose a matte paint finish, which is the flattest available, your eye will not be able to detect where that surface begins and ends. So it's kind of cloud-like. In fact, I actually suggest that people paint in matte on their walls, and then just a bit of gloss on their trim and their crown molding and baseboards.
Right.
But,
okay.
Yeah. So here's an example. This is it. This is it in action. Here's another example. Now this is a bit more of an advanced technique. This is someone who's taken the cloud colors and put it on all the walls and the ceiling, but then they brought in the atmosphere color into the bed itself.
Okay.
So
I see that.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next component is bringing in the green, and this is where a lot of vacation rental owners mess up. A lot of people don't bring green in, and green is absolutely essential to this secret. Green is all about renewal and feeling energized, and that's how people want to feel on vacation. They want it. They don't want it. They don't want to work. They just want to have fun. They're out and about, and when they come back to your beautiful rental, they want to feel renewed. So you definitely need some green in there. I suggest decorative elements like a bedspread, or have a green in a pillow. You don't actually need a lot of green. I mean, you just need a bit of green. And if you don't want to spend any money and you don't do anything after this presentation, then at least put a little bit of live greenery in your vacation rentals. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a flower. It works just as well to go out and, cut a bit of fir, or, a bit of olive leaf, or whatever you have, some kind of a shrub that looks pretty, and put it in a vase, and it just has a huge impact on a room. So I definitely suggest that.
No, that's a great point. In fact, I was asking that of some other owners recently, on what do you recommend? Do you do live, live plants, or do you do flowers, or, do you even do the fake plants, which I'm probably going to say you're against, but go ahead and tell me your thoughts on that.
I am against fake plants, only because there's a vibrancy that plants give off, and this is a scientific fact. I'm not, there's a vibrancy that people detect on kind of a subliminal level, and I think one of the main reasons people don't want to, or maybe sort of shy away from live plants, is they think, oh, the maintenance, it's too much, and I understand that, but you can either bring in a potted tree, which depending on where you are and what your circumstances are, that might be a bit hard to maintain, but most of us have some form of greenery outside. So flowers do get expensive for vacation rentals, but greenery doesn't. So you can just literally go outside and just take your scissors and cut off with some branches. I actually favor ferns and olive branches. People really like those.
Oh, yeah.
Put them in water. And it's
that's something you wouldn't normally think of, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, so I of course love peonies, so you can see that up on the left corner. I just picked those. Those are on my dining room table right now.
Oh, great.
Okay, so the last is the earth, no, actually the third one is the earth. And this one is really kind of a no-brainer for most of us because we have so many earth tones in our houses already. Earth tones come in metals, like the darker metals like bronze and brass. They come in our wood furniture. We all have plenty of wood furniture. Wood furniture is good, They come in our frames and they come in our tile, our terracotta tile and our brick and our countertops in our kitchen. So, we really don't need to try to get the earth colors in there at all. They're already present. I just mentioned it because they do have to be there. I mean, you wouldn't want to create a space where it was just all color, You don't want like some psychedelic like 60s palace or whatever where you feel overwhelmed by color. And this is a rental in upstate New York. It's on Airbnb. You can see the walls. This owner has chosen to pretty much have the whole room white, which is the cloud color. But you can see above on the beam, there's a blue beam. So that's the atmosphere, sort of the blue sky.
Right.
And then also that blue blanket on the bed, which also brings in the sky.
Right.
So it's kind of a perfect picture for illustrating this technique.
Yeah.
And this place books up. You cannot get this place. My husband is from upstate New York, or no, he's actually from New York City, but he lived in upstate New York for years. And this summer we're trying to find a place up in the Catskills, and I found this, and of course it gets 7 months booked up. So, wow. I mean, and it's because of the colors. If you look at this, I'll have it on my blog later, the link, but it's a beautiful, beautiful rental, and I don't think it costs a lot to fix up. So.
Neat.
And then the last is the wildflower component, and this is the really fun part for people. A lot of us tend to be a bit color suppressed, especially in I think North America and Canada. Our tropical neighbors they love the wild colors. I don't even think the Costa Rican vacation rental owners are going to need this to read this blog because they're so in touch with their colorful sides. Right. But I don't know what it is, but we are a little bit afraid of color, and we need to just say yes, this is a good thing. These are all your decorative elements, like your upholstery, your pillows, your wallpaper, your artwork. Never underestimate the power of books. Books can be so beautiful and colorful on a bookshelf. And sometimes I think a really good technique for books and colorful books is to actually block them together according to color a bit, and then the color stands out even more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of like all this color, are there certain colors that are maybe more resistant to going in and out of style? Just on a trend aspect, or is that how do you?
That's true. I mean, I think that in interior design, I think a really good rule of thumb for design for vacation rentals is that your guests are very aware of trends right now. You have to remember that they're reading Sunset Magazine, they're looking at Martha Stewart, they're watching HCCT. Sorry, I never can say that. Television. They're very aware of beauty in interiors, and so I encourage owners to spend money on things like pillows and seat cushions, maybe just wallpaper one wall all in wallpaper, not a whole room. And then have those kind of timeless elements stay. So you can, change out a lampshade, for example, or you can, reupholster a sofa in these, these sort of trending fabrics and
Got it.
textures. But
Yeah,
yes, you can't kind of get away from the trends, because if you don't follow trends at all, then people aren't going to look at your rental. I mean, there's so many rentals that are kind of stuck in the 70s or stuck in the 80s, stuck in the 90s. And so I'm all for traditional elements, but I definitely think that we need to sort of jazz things up with the less expensive.
Got it. Yeah, so you can basically, every couple of years or whatever the case may be, you can update your accent pieces, which are a lot less expensive than the mainstay things. So.
Definitely, and the power of a sale, those are wonderful. There's a lot of things that go on sale.
Oh, okay. A power of a sale.
The power of the sale. West Elm is having a 30% off sale or whatever.
Right.
So here is, we've seen this room already, but this is a room that has all the components. It has the atmosphere color on the walls. It has the cloud color on the ceiling. The wildflower colors are coming in from the artwork and the books. And that side table down there, that bright red fire engine side table. The greenery is coming in the upholstery and that pillow, and the earth is this wood floor. So you have everything there, except, of course, I actually think they should add some real greenery there too, but you can't have everything, right? So that's it. That's all I have, for today. So I'll have more on this subject later on in the week on my blog.
Okay. Well, great. We'll definitely have I'll have the video, and then underneath the video I'll have a blog about our talk, and I'll have links to your site and everything, so people can check it out from there as well.
So I hope that I helped you, and I hope I helped a lot of vacation rental owners out. It was fun doing this today.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I think a lot of people, like I just did myself, right? I can see those great photos that you had, and I can think to myself, wow, that's really great, but I really wasn't able to break it down into the different elements that I could recreate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was really helpful to be able to, take it one point at a time, because then you can manage it. Just saying, hey, go add some color. You're kind of like, especially like me, I'm a guy. I may not have the style sense of.
You know what? I have to say, any guy could do that. That if you have instructions, right? You could do it. Anyone could do that.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You've given us a little bit of a roadmap that we can kind of follow. So. The other thing I just did too, about last time I was at my place about 2 weeks ago, I went and bought a bunch of wildflower seed and tossed it all over my yard.
Oh.
So I'm hoping that adds some actual real life wildflowers, and I think when they all bloom, it could be some really good photos to.
Oh, that would be beautiful, and then bring some into your vacation rental.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm all for flowers and rentals for all the guests that arrive. Have flowers to greet them.
That is a great point. So yeah, and I think like we talked about the plants a little bit before. I think the owners that live near or on site have a little bit of an advantage over the remote owners. But do you have any tips on ways people can manage that?
Well, I think that probably owners need to be kind of hands-on, at least at one point in creating their rentals. I definitely think that it's doable to go and decorate your rental yourself, which is why I started my blog. I don't think it's realistic to ask your housekeepers to do it for you, but I think a manager might be able to do something. I definitely think a manager could do some of this stuff for owners. I don't think that that's unrealistic.
Right. Yeah, no, I think you're right though. I mean, if you can, even if you can only get to your place, once or twice a year, you should try to do most of it yourself. And then, but in terms of like, just having maybe the housekeeper bring in flowers or fresh cut greenery for
Yeah.
each guest, that's something they can do and help manage you from afar.
Yes, definitely. That would be, yeah. And I don't think that's unrealistic to ask them. It's just part of the instructions of the way they set up for each guest.
Great. Any other final thoughts you'd like to add for us?
Well, if you subscribe to my blog, you get my list of the 31 essential design secrets to put in all vacation rentals. So I encourage everybody to subscribe to my site. And other than that, I'm pumping out material all the time, ways to help the vacation rental owners community. So if anybody has any specific questions for me, I love to get emails and love to answer questions.
Fantastic. Well, I can definitely attest. I have read a lot of your blog articles, and they're not only very informative, but they're pretty amusing and fun the way they're written as well. So.
Thank you.
There was one in particular about making the bedrooms have some sex appeal, so that was always a good one.
Oh yeah, it's basically the article is called basically accept that people have sex in your rentals.
Right.
And plan for that. Yeah, make your rentals romantic, and you will get lots of bookings, lots of repeat bookings.
Yes, it's so funny because I think as owners we typically kind of don't want to think about that, but you brought it out and just said, hey, it actually does happen. Let's make the most of it, right?
Definitely. And people want their romantic getaway. They always want the romantic getaway, so you have to keep that in mind. And you will do very well in this business if you plan for that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure and really fun getting to see some of your ideas in action. So I wanted to thank you very, very much for coming on and sharing your ideas.
Well, thank you for having me, Steve. I love your blog, and I love your interview show. So I was really happy that you asked me to be on today.